take care of yourself health-wise, mentally and physically. And we tend to spend, I don't know, an extraordinary percentage on a roof over our head. And that's our main,
too much.
That's our main priority.
But that's a California thing, I think. Not just California,
actually
but
not.
Really?
It's I'm going to say it's a Western world thing, but it's especially an American thing.
Okay.
That we want that amazing house. We want a cool house. We want a cool car, and then we go shopping for crap food, overprocessed, cheap shit.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So I absolutely refuse to compromise on my food budget. It's just one thing I absolutely refuse. I will move to a smaller place.
Yeah.
If it means I can still buy organic, fresh produce, because that's what I put in my body.
Yeah.
I can have a smaller roof over my head and put good stuff into my body.
Right.
In the long run, that's going to pay off. And it's the same thing with physical and mental health. If we don't take care of ourselves, in the long run, this is going to cost us more, because we're going to end up on a shitload of medication, be it high blood pressure or antidepressants or whatever. So it's an investment into how we function in the long run. And like I do, so in my yoga, I don't know, I'm a little bit of a rebel yoga teacher. I love it. I move beyond just the general like yoga poses. I do a lot of mobility work, and as I say in my classes, I mean, certain things I'm working, for example, with the hips. I say, look, this is going to save your hip replacement. And it's not a yoga movement, by the way. I'm into functional mobility instead of yoga, but I still incorporate it because it's an overall body health. Yeah. And if you can do work now in your 40s and your 50s that are going to prevent you from getting a hip replacement when you're 60, it's worth it.
Yeah, totally.
It's totally worth it.
Yeah.
And I think that's how we have to look at it. And the same thing with mental health, that spending $100 a month on a membership to a yoga studio where you can do unlimited yoga. For most yoga studios will have something in the region of $100 or something. Okay. Where you can do unlimited yoga. Yeah. And if it's a good yoga studio, it will have.
Does Food Dog have that?
Yes, it does. Okay. Even cheaper. I think it's $80.
Food Dog!
Oh yeah! Yay! And also, I mean, but you can do a yoga studio like that will have all kinds of different kind of yoga. So you can stay physically fit doing yoga, but you can also stay mentally fit. Yeah. And then you have something like Sonoma, where I work in Santa Rosa, which they put everything under one roof. This is such an interesting concept that they have. Basically, it's a yoga studio, but they also have, it's all kinds of alternative. So they have acupuncture. Oh, they have massage. They have Ayurvedic doctors. They have normal doctors. So you can get like your B12 shot, everything. You can get sacrocranial therapy.
Shut up.
Yeah.
There's a place in Sonoma like this?
Yeah, it's in Santa Rosa.
In Santa Rosa.
Yeah. You can literally, and because they have actual GPs working there, I mean, there's some health insurance that actually covers some of it. It's so genius. It's such a genius concept where it's everything under one roof. So you can literally go and have your yoga class, and then you can get your B12 shot, and
you can get some needles put between your eyes.
And have your acupuncture. And it's like,
acupuncture.
So it's such an incredible concept that they put on this whole center of, of health.
Everybody should know about this.
Right?
Okay.
I think it's so genius.
That is genius.
So the owner of that is, his name is Deacon, and he's a dear friend of mine. We've worked together for years, and he had this vision of creating this.
Everything under one roof.
Everything under one roof.
Do you know that there's a place around the corner? I'm going to give them a plug because they're just amazing. So Herbfulk here in Petaluma downtown. So they're literally right around the corner. And Aaron and Amanda are the two of the loveliest humans that I have ever met. And I go over there now and I'm like, hi, what can you do?
What can you do for me?
Yeah. And it's not all of those things under one roof, but Erin does acupuncture and she's amazing. And there are, herbalists, and Amanda is just the most lovely human ever. And what I'm learning is if you go into a place like that where there are people who are so generous with their information and it's not all about selling you things. It's just about I think this is also a Sonoma County thing and probably in many other places, but this is what I'm starting to appreciate about where we live. People genuinely want to connect. They want to make your life better.
Yes.
In whatever way, whether it's yoga, whether it's herbs, whether it's acupuncture, any of that stuff. And I'm not shocked that there's a place actually, Sonoma, that has everything under one roof. Why isn't it more common in all of the states?
Right.
Right.
Well, it should be a standard.
Totally.
Absolutely should. It should be a standard. And that's the thing. I mean, I think also, especially where we live, I do appreciate that we live in a bubble.
For sure.
The Bay Area is a bubble.
In a lot of ways.
I mean, when Trump got elected, I was just like, who are these people who voted for Trump? I don't know anybody. And I was like, I live in a bubble.
I know. Oh, I just had this conversation. We are so connected with our own people, which in a way is great, right? Because this is what we preach, right? Connect with your people. Be with your people.
Yeah.
But we have have no clue of what's
going on in Alabama. I was just like, who are these people? So I appreciate that we live in a bubble. But what I think we're realizing here, but we also a place of there's a lot of innovation in the Bay Area. There's a lot of stress, and we work hard, play hard. This is an area of work hard, play hard. And I think we're realizing that just waiting until we get that high blood pressure or we get that anxiety and then start taking some medication for it, that's just a Band-Aid. That's not going to solve the fucking issue.
Totally.
And we're realizing that we actually need to treat the cause of it. Instead of just putting a Band-Aid on.
Totally.
And medication is a Band-Aid. So if you have high blood pressure, guess what? Change your fucking diet.
Do some work.
That's simple.
Is the thing.
Start working out and change your fucking diet. And I love the fact that it's like you get people who are like, who think that, okay, going vegan is extreme. What, more extreme than open heart surgery? Are you kidding me? I'm not like some extreme vegan or anything.
Yeah.
But I can see the sense when you say it's like, okay, so veganism is extreme, but open heart surgery is not.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, good point.
And not that I think everybody should go vegan. I'm just like, we could all eat less meat. We could all eat better. But it's just, it's.
It's funny. There's a couple of things I want to say there. Back to listening to your body. You know how they say that you have cravings and it's usually your body telling you that there's something deficient or something that you need, right?
Yeah.
I've generally speaking, I've had this weird random diet when you consider what everybody else is doing. I eat what I crave when I want. I go through phases where it's like, oh my God, I'm just eating a bunch of garbage and I can do better. I do think about it like logically. I'm like, okay, straighten up. But I know that there's something lacking. Meat for me, for example, I'm definitely not a vegetarian, but I don't eat a ton of meat. And it's because I don't crave it. I crave things that feel a little bit better within my body. And then there's sometimes like yesterday, for example, where I'm like, give me a big fat burger.
I want meat.
I just want meat right now.
No, I'm the same.
I feel like we were talking about earlier, there's so many ways that as humans we can tap into the information that our body and our minds and our emotions are telling us. And as we age and maybe as we become more aware, because we're very connected right now, not the connected that you and I have been talking about, but the connected like the internet. And we have all of the information and access to everything we ever wanted or needed to be healthy, happy, well-adjusted humans. But truthfully, like just listen inside. Like listen to what your body is telling you and your mind is telling you and your heart.
But again, I also think that's a journey.
That was super profound, by the way. I'm just
right.
We went from blowjobs to be happy.
Blowjobs can be profound as well. I'm just saying. I think it's also, I mean, what's really important here is also learning to step away from society's pre-imposed frames.
Yeah.
And that's no matter, for example, I mean, if you are a vegan, you feel like you can never eat meat because, oh my God, then you're then you're
not vegan. Like you don't have the label.
You don't have the label and it's heresy and stuff like that. So instead, and and this is again something with age, I'm so tired of frames and rules like that.
Yeah.
And I refuse to define me. And I get that a lot because I have a considerable platform on Instagram with my yoga and yoga people. There's a lot of like vegans and all that, which I totally like. Go forth, and I mean, do you? But a lot of people want to put that into a frame and be like, you have to be vegan. And if you eat vegan, then you have to follow all these rules. Eat vegan all the goddamn time. And I'm like, I'm predominantly vegan.
Yeah.
I cook vegan in my own home. I like to call myself, I'm 80% vegan, 20%
whatever.
Yeah.
All the rest.
20%, circumstantial.
Right.
But it's just, it just means that it's like, if I'm at a restaurant, if I'm at a 3 Michelin star restaurant,
you're damn well going to eat what they're happy.
I'm fucking eat the tasting menu and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to love it. And I'm not going to feel bad about it.
Right.
And at the same time, if I'm at a friend's house, I would never ask my friends to be like, so you can only cook this, this, and this because this is, I was just like, cook whatever you want. I'm going to love it. I'm going to appreciate it. I'm going to enjoy it.
Completely.
So just because I day to day mainly cook vegan, by the way, I do eat eggs for breakfast. They are chickens from my own backyard. So I think they go under the term vegan eggs.
Vegan-ish.
Ish. But anyway, so I'm just not going to apologize for that. And I'm not going to put myself in the frame, which is why I would never call me like, oh, I'm a vegan, because I'm not.
Right.
But I eat very little meat. And generally not, I very rarely cook meat. I cook meat sometimes for my kids because sometimes they want it. And I'm like, that's good. You need to make your own decisions.
Totally.
I'm not going to impose my shit on you. We need to step out of this idea
I agree.
like
of
what
labeling
you
everything.
Labeling everything. And I think, you know what? Vegans, this is for you. It is way better somebody who only eats meat once a week than somebody who eats meat every day. So applaud the person who applaud the person who just does it once a week, because that's a great start. I mean, just stop being judgy against that. I mean, that's like, it's all good.
Just stop being judgy, period.
Exactly. We can all purely health-wise and environmentally. So let's take away the whole, like, the animals and all that.
The fact that the world is burning and we're going to die in 20 years.
But climate change and health-wise, it's good for you to eat less meat.
Agreed. Completely
End
right.
of fucking story. So it's good for yourself. It's good for your environment. Eat a little bit less meat. That's great.
Yeah. It's funny. Climate change has, not that it's only recently come onto my radar, but this is what I love about really good friends, good people in your life. They teach you things, right? And they bring your awareness to things that maybe because you have, for example, you and I were very similar. We get along really well, but you probably are super hyper-focused in a certain area that is very passionate to you. And I have another area, and we're both great humans, but your focus is here and mine is there. And a good friend would be like, but this is my focus. I'm not imposing it on you, but here's some information. So I have a good friend, KK, I'm going to say, because she's like literally the one person who listens to every episode. She's amazing. And she's very, very, very passionate about the climate conversation, as we all should be, I believe. But she's the person who has